How we doing? It is Franco's World episode 28. It is November this time. I said October last time. My mom called me out on that. November 19th, Tuesday. Beautiful day in Pennsylvania. Just kidding. It's actually very gloomy. Pretty good show today. We're going to change some things up. The show's felt like a big production. I had a good talk with a friend of mine. The show's felt like a big production, so we're trying to make it feel more like a conversation and less like a big show. We got a good one cooked up for you today. I'm going to talk about some Lyft driving experiences I had recently. We're going to talk about some ironies in life and some things to see on Twitter. And we're going to answer the listener questions at the end, which were, what is your favorite obscure fact or unique fact in history? We got some good ones, so I'm excited to talk about that. As always, remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at francosworld_. And if you would like to get some new clothes or a new phone case or some stickers for your laptop or anything artsy, go to baseballlegendapparel.com. Use promo code FRANK, that's FRANK, Frank, at checkout for 10% off your final purchase. Got a lot of great stuff. I'm a big fan of the guy's work, and I work with him sometimes. Very good friend of mine. And I just like supporting people that also support me. So, baseballlegendapparel.com, baseballlegendapparel.com, baseballlegendapparel.com. I'll see you in a second, and when I get back, we will delve deep into the world of Lyft and jokes and what else was it? I don't know, but it's going to be a little bit different today, so I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to take a break in the middle of the show. I'm just going to take a break right now because that was the intro. All right, so I know you're not supposed to. I mean, I'm sure there's no rule about talking about passengers that you had that maybe weren't the best, but I did the driving over the weekend like I always do, and it was pretty good. I made good money as always. It's a popular area, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's little festivals and beer fests and this fest and that fest that goes on. So you pick people up, and you get some good tips. People are nice. And then, you pick up people from a Hosier concert. Hosier? I don't know. The guy with the good voice. I don't know how to say his name. Hosier? Either way, there was that concert. I picked some people up from that. I probably picked about 4 or 5 people up from that. The next to last person I picked up, it was a duo, 2 people. A girl and a guy. They were friends. Definitely friends. And the guy was top 10 worst people of all time. But he didn't order the Lyft in his name, and I'm too big of a wussy to not give a 5-star rating to anyone. I don't know why. It's when I'm a Lyft driver in the sense that I'm like a snake. You know what they say? It's he's more afraid of you than you are of it. That's me. When people get in my car, I get anxious. I get worried. Probably not the best job for someone who gets anxious and worried when people get in their car, to literally drive people around for money, drive strangers around for money. People that very well could have a criminal record. Yikes. Guy gets in my car and he's like, just kidding, we're here to kill you. And I'm like, ha ha, nervous, laughing. Taking them to wherever they need to go. I don't even remember. And every joke that he's saying, and he's drunk, every joke that he's saying, he didn't put his seatbelt on. He's in the back seat. His forearms are on the back of my chair. And he's just leaning in to the front area. And I tried to tell him, hey, you try to put your seatbelt on. I don't want you to fall or anything. Just trying to, look out for the safety of others. And every little dumb joke, every little crack thing that he makes, this drunk girl beside of him is just dying laughing. Just cackling. And every time I try to interject with something, try to add to the conversation, it's just silent. And I don't get it because his jokes were woeful. Would you like to know his jokes? Because I'll tell you. As long as my phone stops ringing in the middle of the show. They asked me where I was from. I said West Virginia. And they took that and rode with it. Big time. She's like, oh, are you excited to see your your family in Virginia? I'm like, well, no, it's not Virginia. It's West Virginia. It's its own thing. And I've had to do that a lot. And then he was like, yeah, I bet you're excited to go back and hook up with your sister and your mom. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not at all. Like, grow up. My sister lives in Spain anyway. And he's like, oh, yeah, she likes them Puerto Ricans in Spain. I wanted to throw him through the freaking wall of the car. I wanted to do that because it's annoying. I love jokes. I hate bad jokes. That is a hack joke, 1. 2, it's not good. 3, if you make a joke, you cannot get mad when I come back harder. But because it was a 2v1 situation, because I don't really care about them at all, I just let it slide. I was like, nope, she lives in Spain. I was like, no, man, I'm just doing this to make some money before I make the next move. And he was like, oh, well, good luck. You're going to need luck. What a jerk. And there's a lot more things I want to say about him, but I can't because he's a certain type of person in this world, a certain type of person you can't make fun of, even though they're the ones preaching mental health on Twitter and self-care on Twitter. Oh my God. Oh my God. Also, so like, 2 things. 1, how do you get through school and not know like what the states are? West Virginia is a state. It is a state. It's been a state since 1863. How in the Sam heck do you not think it is not a state? What banana land school did you go to? Probably homeschooled. It's probably why you have no friends. Probably playing with sticks in the dirt for fun. It's unbelievable. People in Europe know West Virginia. They know country roads, so they know West Virginia is a thing. They know that. People in Europe do know that. That's facts. How do Americans not even know it is a state? This is why, okay, we need some sort of litmus test for people to be able to vote at this point. If you can't name or at least identify on a map and be like, what's that weird looking shape? I've never seen that before. Well, that's a state. If you can't do that, I'm taking your right to vote. Sorry. I just can't deal with these idiocracies. I can't deal with the idiocracies of life. And the ironies of life, going back to what I was talking about, how his certain group of people, which it does not matter. Holy moly, it does not matter. ELE, everybody love everybody. Why are you so hypocritical on Twitter? Twitter is not real life. It is fake life. And you are living in a fantasy land. So these type of people like to talk about mental health, self-care. Oh, we need to look out for our mental health. Men also need mental health and then self-care. You say something that they don't agree with, you need to go kill yourself. You should jump out of a window. How dare you? You should be buried under the prison. You should go kill yourself. You're telling people to look out for mental health, and then at the same sense, you're also like, go kill yourself. Does anyone else see the irony in that? It is just a preposterous thing that people do. I'm so tired of people living this fake life on the internet. If I didn't have to have it to promote myself, I would get rid of it. I cannot wait to the day where if something happens, and by God, it's 1,000,000 to 1, where I pop off and I get some notoriety, you're going to handle social media for me, Mayor Buckaroo, because I'm not going to look at it all day. These people are just idiots, morons, simpletons. And they think because they have a lot of followers that what they say is true no matter what. You're preaching mental health on Twitter, and then someone says something you don't agree with, and you're telling them to kill themselves. Wow, that makes sense. It's unbelievable, and I can't stand it anymore. I'm so tired of this fake culture that we live in today. This society where it's all sunshine and rainbows until somebody says something you don't agree with, and then it's fire and brimstone. It doesn't make sense to me. How about we just don't care about each other at all? How about we just look after ourselves? Not everyone's opinion was made to be heard, and I know that's going to hurt people's feelings. I know that's not right to say, but it's not. There's some people in this world that, well, they can't put a square peg, or yeah, in a square hole. They're trying to stick it in a in a triangle. If you've ever seen Idiocracy, it just doesn't make sense to me, man. And it's probably just because social media has been this new technology, and we're still the 20-year what happens in the future type of thing, like what people did do with cigarettes and what's going to happen with the vape pens and stuff like that, hasn't been done for social media yet. So me, I had it since the jump. I had Twitter since the jump in like 2009, when all it was like people that worked for TMZ tweeting about how Ben Affleck was eating a bagel this weekend. I remember when that was Twitter. And now it's become this, what would you say, op-ed article. It's become the op-ed section of like the New York Times. And it doesn't matter how much sense whatever you say makes. It's out there. It's published. You have published work. Congratulations, you're a published writer. I just don't understand. Why does it matter? I miss jokes. I miss people not caring about each other, people having a positive attitude. I was listening to a podcast the other day, so I'm stealing this next bit from our podcast I was listening to, the History of Hyenas podcast. Giannis Papas, Chris Stefano. And they were talking about how we don't appreciate excellence anymore. And I thought that was an interesting take. In our society and our culture doesn't appreciate excellence anymore because we're always looking to bring someone down. As soon as someone gets something, what's the first thing people do? Well, let's go on their social media thing to see if they said anything slightly controversial, and let's get them fired. Let's make people lose their jobs. Some of these things that people say are despicable. I will admit that. Some of the things are ticky-tack. Some of these things are quotes. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just don't get it. We don't appreciate excellence anymore. So people get upset if you come from money and you make yourself successful, and they're like, well, you only did that because your parents' money. That's a possibility. But still, if they do good in the world and they do these incredible things, these incredible feats, unbelievable, which is the dumbest word in the dictionary, unbelievable. Everything's believable. They should be celebrated. So say it, and nobody knows everyone's story. So like you'll have comedians that live like a borderline homeless person for a decade, finally make it big, start selling tickets, start doing their thing, and they happen to make a video in their car and you see a hint of a Mercedes logo in the car. What's the comments? Wow, nice Mercedes. Wow, this, wow, that. Wow, I wish I was rich. Then work hard and make yourself rich. I know that's a capitalistic idea. I will admit too that people that make a ton of money maybe should be taxed a little bit more. I get that. I think we can all agree that the tax breaks for the extremely rich are a little bit out of control. But like we don't appreciate excellence enough. The people do these incredible feats, and the first thing we try to do as a society is how to bring them down to our level. Because I'm not happy, and I don't think anyone should be happy. It's a very, very mentally ill, just like sick mindset people have. Okay, I don't remember what the thing just messed up, so I'm just going to go back to the part where I was talking before this. I'm not feeling good about myself, so you're not allowed to feel good about yourself. It's a very narcissistic way of thinking. It's a very sick way of thinking. The show paused halfway through. I don't know what's going on. These people need help. We don't appreciate excellence enough. Okay, so the pausing the show kind of messed up the whole flow, so I don't know what the last thing I said was, so I guess I'll have to listen back and edit it all together. That was the first half of the show. It was very interesting. When I get back, oh wait, no, I wasn't going to do any breaks. See, we're working on the new show. So the show's now trying to be more of a conversation and more of me getting upset because apparently that's when I'm the funniest. Okay? So the question posed on my Instagram story at Franco's World was, what is like the most unique fact in history that you know? I got some good ones. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Christopher Columbus landed the Bahamas, not in America. Ham and lobster were served at the first Thanksgiving, not turkey. Warren de la Rue invented the light bulb, not Thomas Edison. Those were all from the same person. That's why I read all three. Christopher Columbus landed in the Bahamas, not North America. Yeah, well, Christopher Columbus did a lot of things. No, I don't. That's, I mean, cool. I think we all knew that one though. It's not like the most unique fact in history. I can roast this person because it's my sister. Ham and lobster were served at the first Thanksgiving, not turkey. Lobster. Well, it was in the Northeast, so that makes sense. It was like Plymouth Rock or something like that. And if you go to Plymouth Rock, or so I've heard, you think the Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower and you have this massive boulder, and it's like, oh, this is where we make our stand, and it's like just the regular rock, like it's not a big boulder at all. It's just this. Like you go in your backyard and be like, oh, this is actually Plymouth Rock. Same thing with the Mason-Dixon line. It's like Maryland, West Virginia, or maybe that's the Mason-Dixon line, or maybe it's Maryland, Pennsylvania, or something. I thought it was Maryland, West Virginia. It's probably longer. But it's in like someone's backyard, and all it is like a stone. And when you turn it over, there's a handful of markers that people made the line, but it just has an M and then like a dub V or something like that, or a dub VA on a rock, just like chiseled into a rock. MD and dub V. This one, Epstein committed suicide. Okay, that he's joking. Funny thing about this whole Epstein thing is that two of the jail workers have been found guilty. I was just reading the New York Times this morning, and they have been found guilty. So that aids to the story of Epstein did not kill himself. When the news first dropped that story, okay, I was instantly on board of, because I was hearing the thing. It's like, oh, they arrested this guy that knew all this elitist ring of sex slave type things, and I was like, okay, well, this guy, bad dude. First off, second off, he better start singing like a canary because I want the stories to come out. And he dies in prison. Come on, bro. And the way he died, the bones that were broken or the injuries that he sustained that led to his demise are super common in strangulation. So how are you going to sit there and say to us, the government, that he committed suicide? It is insane. He knew so much about so many people, and you couldn't dare have that stuff come out. And then the cameras just so happened to be not working at the time. Bro, I know we're stupid. I just went on a 15-minute rant about how stupid of a society we are. And you don't think we're going to figure that one out? And the great thing about my best comedy acts, my best bits, are the ones that make people see the ironies in life and make people see the hypotheticals, like the what if situations. I give an answer to the question, what if? That's what I think I do best, even though I'm still like a couple years in and still trying to find my way. Speaking of the show, I talked about on a recent episode where Mark Norman was saying, whenever you're first starting out, you're doing impressions of comedians that you admire. I admit my stand-up was definitely like that. And I didn't even realize my show was like that. Because I just watch the old Dean Martin show constantly. And I'm like, oh, well, I have a show of my own now. I can make it like this grandiose production. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be a conversation between you and me. Or invite me into your cars, your homes, your ears. So thank you for listening. And I will stop doing Dean Martin impressions and start doing Franklin Miller impressions. Okay. This is a good one. Mexico's longest serving president was 4'6". That's pretty interesting. I don't really have much more to add to that. I don't even know who. I couldn't name any sort of Mexican political leader. I know Diego Maradona is coaching in Mexico because I've been watching this show on Netflix about Diego Maradona coaching in Mexico. The documentary that came out about him on HBO, that guy lived a top 10 life. The soccer success, the women, the cocaine, the drugs, and the partying, that guy has lived a full life. Wow. He cheated in the World Cup. The hand of God punches the ball in with his hand. How do they not see that? All right, what are these next two? Pope Gregory. What is that? Is that a 6 or? Oh, that's, what is that, 9? The 9th? No. 11th maybe? I don't know Roman numerals that well once you get past 10. So I don't know which one this is. I'm going to say 11. I'm just going to guess. So there's a Pope Gregory that declared cats were evil and had all cats killed. Some people believe this led to the spread of the Black Plague. No cats around to kill the rats and mice. I'm anti-cat. We know this. I'm not going to hate on you for having a cat. Just know you know you are a different type of person. I don't need to tell you that. You know that. You know, cats have always been a no-go for me. Like, I don't think I've ever dated a girl that wore cat ears on hat day in elementary school. You know, you'd pay $1 and you get to wear a hat in school. And some girls wore cat ears. Or maybe on Halloween, all you do is just like clip a tail to the back of your jeans. And you wear cat ears and paint your nose, and that was your Halloween outfit. Don't think I've ever dated any girls like that. I'm just not a cat guy. Fair enough. I mean, I'd say most guys aren't cat guys. And maybe this is a little bit weird of me to have this thought, but you're a guy and you have a cat. Perfectly cool. You're a guy and you have 2 cats. I'm crossing the street whenever you're walking on the same side as me. I see you coming one way, I'm going the other way. I'm going to cross the street and get on the other side. It's just weird to me. All right, what's the last little unique fact we have? Oh, this one will get you thinking. It's 2% milk and 98% anonymous. Ooh, interesting. Nah, I don't do milk. I don't do milk. It upsets my stomach. One, I've avoided like all dairy mostly. You know, I'll eat pizza. That'll. It's like the dairy intake that I will allow. But I don't even eat regular ice cream anymore, man. And I loved ice cream. I love ice cream. There was multiple points in college. The first point of college, in my freshman year, I would eat mint chocolate chip, the green mint chocolate chip ice cream for breakfast sometimes. That was when I was clinically depressed, and all I would do was watch stand-up specials all day in my dorm. The second time in my life is probably about a junior, and there was a time where I ate 2 cartons of ice cream in a week. That chocolate peanut butter from Turkey Hill, my God, it is good. It is so good. But I lived off mint chocolate chip, the green kind, because the white kind stinks, the green kind, in freshman year when I was clinically depressed. And we'll talk about depression for the last 5 minutes. And then I lived off of it in junior year. And now, well, I just get non-dairy ice cream because I don't want to risk not feeling good because that's never fun. And it doesn't taste the same. but it's not bad. I'm going to like it. So about depression, we'll talk about that. I'm a positive guy. I don't think I have depression. I think I just have bad days sometimes. And I think a lot of people will say they have depression because it's trendy to say you're anxious and depressed. My anxiety attacks are no joke. I will be debilitated and almost pass out because of the heart palpitations and the lightheadedness and everything. It is trendy to say you have anxiety and trendy to say you have depression. And we become so engulfed in that now people are starting to brag about who has worse depression. Well, I'm so depressed, I take antidepressants. Well, I'm so depressed, I quit my job and move back in with my parents. I'm so depressed, I walk home in the cold and then go home in the dark and sit in the dark and stare outside the window while I listen to that Dong 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 song from the Social Network soundtrack as a candle flickers in the background. That's how depressed I am. People, you're allowed to have bad days. It doesn't mean you are depressed. Okay? You're allowed to be sad. Being emotional is fantastic. Releasing your emotions, I wholeheartedly agree with that. But just because you have a sad day doesn't mean you're depressed. There's a difference between clinically depressed and just sad or a bad day. And maybe y'all won't agree with that, but this is the new way of the show. Still positive, still upbeat. Quick tempo, good rhythm and cadence. A lot less production-y, and we'll be right back after this quick message. All right, we're going to play a game now. A lot less of that, and a lot more conversation between the M and the E and you. All right, what are we going to talk about for the last 5 minutes? I guess we can talk about like the future, what the future has in store for me. I'm applying to everywhere under the sun, mostly jobs in New York. Heard a little bit from jobs in Chicago, but I don't think I'm going to do that, and very rarely will I apply to jobs in Los Angeles. I just feel like that's too big of a move for me right now. The reason I'm applying to those jobs, obviously, so I can do comedy more, but I also just want to live in a city like that one time and just to see what it's like. Every city I've lived in has been a step up from the city it passed. My hometown, my college town's bigger than my hometown. My first job out of college was bigger than my college town. Slightly bigger and bigger and bigger. And the next one would probably be like to move to probably like honestly if I continued that path, it would probably be like Charlotte or Atlanta or Austin, Texas or something like that. But I'm kind of like skipping a step. But I need to. It has to be done. Okay? I understand the things aren't the way they used to be, but some of the things and what I really want to do and what I'm really passionate about, you have to do. And it will suck. But you have to embrace the suck. I mostly advertising, publishing, editing, social media, event coordination, marketing assistant, marketing coordination. What else? What other jobs have I been applying to? Not any copywriting. No PA work, no production assistant work. Advertising too, unless I said that already. No more sports jobs. I'm out of the sports game. But I'm down to help anyone who has questions or maybe like point someone in the right direction if you're interested in sports jobs. I have a lot of friends that work in sports and could probably help you out. But that should do it from today's show. It has been a very interesting show, and although we had the weird pause in the middle that I probably messed up on, I thought it was pretty good. It definitely felt like a conversation and less of a here is me and you are there. And now it's like we're together. And that's what I think you get the best genuine content out of. That's when I think people are the funniest, when it comes from the heart. Even though this might not have been as funny, it was definitely more truthful. So thank y'all very much for listening to today's show. In the meantime, you keep all those questions coming, folks, because I read them all. I do read them all. And I never reveal anybody's name. And I think that's why people are sometimes afraid to ask questions on my Instagram story. But anyways, in the meantime, you just keep taking care of yourself. I will be here every Tuesday from now until the end of time, delivering you quality content for at least 30 minutes. And thank you all very much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.